Today, I spoke to a believer from the UK, and we talked very briefly about things as street mobs, street criminality. Now, I already revealed onto you in multiple videos past year, that includes, also in 2017, that most crime out there are rituals. I didn't say crime, say crime. Crime in general, for the most part, I would say 95% or more are rituals. They're conducted by the shadow government to keep the human population in the negative. And the shadow government are all the visitors together. They are the cult that keeps the human population in this tragic state, and they worship the beast, Apollo. They are Apollonists. Yes, Apollonists conduct most of the crime because crime is their thing. Especially when it comes to prostitution and drugs. Prostitution and drugs, or as it was saying in ancient Greek, pharmakeia, is what the shadow government does. It's their thing, and they want a monopoly on it. So nobody can just build a laboratory in their living room, begin to make some synthetic pills, and become big in the streets. It's not going to happen like that. If you would manage to sell some pills and you get popular, sooner or later you will have those agents from the Apollonists coming at your house and asking you questions. They will not just come and knock on your door. They'll begin to stalk you. They'll begin to appear here and there. They'll begin to send you weird text messages. And that'll tell you who they are. And that you need to pay homage to the beast. And if you don't agree with paying homage to the beast, you'll die. Yes, you'll die. That's how they do. Those that remain in the streets for a long period of time, they either have paranormal charms that they paid for with wizards, and those wizards are part of the shadow government, so it's the same as you receiving permission of the shadow government, or they are inaugurated in the shadow government directly. They've sworn allegiance to Satan and that they would honor the beast with their whole existence. Yes, that's why they can do so many bad stuff and they'll never end up in jail, and anytime there's a police investigation against them, it fails. It's not because the police forces are weak or because people don't want them to be caught. It is because Satan protects them. That's why. So I want you to know that about street criminality. It's not just high criminality in banks or with fraud. That's part of shadow government. All crime, when it comes down to it, is a ritual. Now there are incidents, but people often consider incidents crime. We put it under the same category. No, if you have a fight within a family and one family member kills another, that's an incident. Or if you have a store and people one day decide to, as they would say in the streets, drop you, or that's how they say it in the Caribbean, they decide to drop you or to rob you, that's an incident. Now, there are many droppings that happen that are not incidents but are rituals, but people can't see the difference because they're not alert. I do not talk that much about crime because people tend to become fascinated with crime, and that's one way to be drawn into the negative also, so I don't do that. Just realize that most crime are rituals. And about the UK, because I promised this brother in Christ that I would talk about the UK situation. Men in the UK now are distracted by this Brexit thing. Please don't be distracted by it. I'm not into conspiracy theories and all of that. You know that me, I look at facts. And what I see now, when I evaluate Britain's situation, Britain is in a far more vulnerable position now than they were before this whole Brexit hysteria began. And here's the biggest part of it. They point the finger at the EU. Now, I'm not going into that pointing the finger. What I see now is a country, what I see now is a union, which is the United Kingdom, which is divided, so it's not united, which is haunted by crime, especially among the young people. People are in denial of it, and there's a lot of stuff in Britain itself that the British people don't want to face, so they are in denial. And if there's one thing shadow government loves, is a population in denial. So they will fuel this denial by pointing the finger at Brussels. I'm not defending the EU here, I'm just pointing out the following. Britain, look at yourself. Seriously, look at yourself. I mean, okay, let me give this illustration, then I'm going to close this. If I was part of a football team, or a soccer team, and the team was a very successful team. Yes, there were conflicts here and there within the team, but overall it was a successful team. Let's say I was one of the senior members of that team. And because I was one of the senior members, I earned a high salary, but also had a lot of influence in that team. And because I was part of that team, I had a lot of social connections and business connections also. So you would say me being part of a team is a benefit unto me, true. But let's say that one day I would decide I want to leave this team. The team's going to ask, why do you want to leave? Of course, you have the right to. Other people are going to ask, why do you want to leave? So I should expect that I need to give an account of why I want to leave. But let's say now I decide I want to leave. I want to leave immediately. I don't want to explain anything. But at the same time, I want to retain my salary. I want to retain my privileges. And I don't want my life to be affected in any way. And I stop going to the soccer trainings. I stop going to the matches because I'm done with it. That's in the past. I don't will that anymore. I will against it. But I do will that others have to comply with me at their own expense. Do you seriously think the soccer team is going to take that seriously? Do you seriously think that society as a whole would look at me and support me with that attitude? No. Or let's say you have a guy that's in a marriage and the guy wants to leave. Or let's say it's a woman that wants to leave. I don't care if it's a male or female. One of the partners wants to leave. But they want to retain all the benefits of the marriage, while at the same time they're sleeping with everyone they want. They will whatever they will, and you just have to take whatever consequence there is, and they don't want to hear anything. That's very narcissistic, right? But strangely, when it comes to international relations and affects the lives of millions of people, a part of the population of Europe thinks, a very small part thinks they have the right to will whatever they want, to make their choice, and whatever the consequences are, people just have to take it. And when people point them to the consequences they bring on themselves, they're going to call it blackmail. It's quite weird. Now, I'm not addressing all British people here, of course not. I'm just telling the following, Britain, look at yourself, evaluate yourself, because as a nation, you failed. And you'll have to deal with the consequence of it. And here's the thing, stop looking at the EU. Look at the parasites within your borders, within your country that you want to take back. If you want to take back your country, then deal with the parasites that are starving your own people. Stop looking at Brussels. Even when you were part of the EU, you still went your own way, despite being part of the Union. So you had your country the whole time. So now that you so-called want your country back, why don't you deal with the country you want back? I didn't want to make this video personal, and this is not a personal message. I'm just pointing out to whoever's watching this from Britain. I'm not condemning you here. I just want your eyes to be open to see what type of situation you're in, what type of context you're in. Don't get along with this Brexit hysteria. Or let me say it for what it is. It is an Apollonistic distraction. It's a shadow government project to keep you guys in fear and uncertainty. This whole Brexit hysteria is the hysteria, and it brought a lot of negative energy out of people. And who benefits from that? Demons do. The shadow government does. And what does negative energy do? It fools the negatives around. Things like crime and harm. And all other types of harm. So what do you gain with this willing whatever you will as a nation? You won't gain anything. The solution, just agree with Christ. Be at peace.